Questions 27 through 30. Listen to a teacher talking in a history class. People often talk about one major event in human history that led to civilization. I'm talking about the discovery of agriculture. Once humans learned how to farm, they were able to settle down, build villages and towns, and basically create civilizations. But there's another event that helped humans considerably. Does anyone have a guess?
Learning how to write?
Well, yes, that was important, but it's not what I'm thinking about. I'm talking about the domestication of animals. There are huge numbers of animals on the planet, but throughout all human history, only a relative handful of them have been domesticated. People have tried domesticating many animals, but it's just not possible in most cases. It's likely that the first animal which humans domesticated was the dog. No one knows for sure when this happened. But we can make an educated guess. DNA testing tells us that dogs and wolves are related. Sometime in the past, they separated into two distinct species. It probably happened around 100,000 years ago. Some experts believe it occurred in East Asia, while others claim it took place in the Middle East. We don't know for sure, though. How did dogs and humans come to have such a close relationship? The most popular theory claims that they provided mutual benefits for one another. Dogs protected humans from animals and other humans. They also helped people hunt. In return, humans provided dogs with steady supplies of food. They also gave dogs relatively safe places to live. Over time, the two developed an extremely close relationship.
Do we know when the first dog was tamed?
No, but again, we can make an educated guess. There's a site in Germany where human and dog skeletons were found buried together. Those bones date back to around 14,000 years ago. A similar site in China has bones that date to 7,500 years ago. At a dig site in Siberia that's around 6,200 years old, a dog was found buried next to many humans in a cemetery. All three of those finds show how highly regarded dogs were in their communities, so we can infer that dogs had been domesticated in those places due to where they were buried. Now answer the questions. Number 27. What is the teacher mainly discussing? Number 28. What does the teacher suggest about domesticating animals? Number 29. Why does the teacher mention DNA testing? Number 30. According to the teacher, why did humans and dogs develop a close relationship? Questions 31 through 34. Listen to a teacher talking in a biology class.
One of the strangest looking animals in the world is the anteater. Take a look at this picture of it up on the screen here. The most obvious physical feature is the long snout, or nose. The anteater uses its snout to dig in the ground for ants and termites, its two favorite foods. This animal you're looking at here is a giant anteater. It can grow to almost 2 meters in length, but a lot of that is its snout and big bushy tail, so its body isn't that large. There are two other anteater species. They are the silky anteater and the southern tamandua. Both are a bit smaller than the giant anteater. Yes, Brenda, your hand is up?
Where does the giant anteater live?
It resides mostly in Central and South America. Its territory ranges from Mexico to northern Brazil. Now, how about some of its other physical characteristics? Again, focus on the screen. It has stiff, bristly fur that's brown or gray in color. Sometimes its fur can be so dark that it's almost black. Now look at the snout. Notice that its mouth is at the very end of it. Cool, huh? The anteater lacks teeth, but it has a very long tongue that can extend far from its mouth. Also observe its paws. Each paw has very long, sharp claws. The anteater uses them to get inside an anthill or termite mound. Then it uses its tongue to find ants and termites and to eat them. In case you're curious, a single anteater can consume up to 35,000 ants in one day. Now that's a big appetite. The giant anteater usually lives alone. It can be territorial at times, yet as a general rule, it's rather docile. Pumas and jaguars sometimes hunt it, but it has few other natural enemies. Now, how about watching a short video of an anteater attacking a termite mound? I think you'll find this fascinating.
Now answer the questions. Number 31. What is the teacher mainly talking about? Number 32. What does the teacher say about the snout of the anteater? Number 33. What does the teacher imply about the anteater? Number 34. What will the teacher probably do next? Questions 35 through 38. Listen to a teacher talking in a chemistry class.
It's going to be cold tonight. In fact, it's going to be so cold that we're supposed to get the first frost of the year. Now, I know you've all heard that word before, but what exactly does it mean? What is frost? Simply put, it's a type of frozen water. When the air has too much water vapor, it condenses. Then it gets deposited on many surfaces, including the ground, plants, cars, and windows. If the temperature is cold enough, the water vapor freezes and thereby forms frost. Frost always appears to be white in color. The reason is that the frost crystals contain air. There are different types of frost. Let me tell you about 3 of them. Hoarfrost is one. That's HOAR, by the way. It resembles loose ice crystals. It can form on the ground or on virtually any object. It often appears in the morning after a cold, clear night. It manifests when water vapor condenses on a very cold surface. What happens is that the water vapor freezes on contact. A second type of frost is rime frost, or spell that R-I-M-E. There's a picture of it in your books on page 194. Take a look. Note the ice crystals that are around the flower petals. It forms when icy wind blows and water vapor freezes on flowers, plants, and tree branches. Pretty, isn't it? I should make an important point about frost before we continue. One big problem with frost is that it can kill plants. If farmers plant their crops too early in the spring, a late frost can cause lots of damage and many plants can die. In fall, if there's an early frost, like tonight's expected one, farmers need to harvest their crops to keep them from suffering any damage. Now, a third type of frost is fern frost. It's sometimes called window frost. There's a picture of it in your books as well. It resembles the leaves of a fern, doesn't it? This type of frost forms when you have a window pane that's very warm on the inside and very cold on the outside.
Now answer the questions. Number 35. What does the teacher say about hoarfrost? Number 36. Why does the teacher suggest that the students look in their books? Number 37. Why does the teacher talk about farmers? Number 38. What can be inferred about fern frost? Questions 39 through 42. Listen to a teacher talking in a social studies class.
I know almost all of you have smartphones, and many of you have laptop computers as well, right? Go ahead and take out your smartphones if you have them with you. Don't use them, of course. Just take them out. Look at them for a moment. What do you think is special about them, Len?
They're so small. My dad showed me a picture of the first cell phone he ever owned. It was enormous. Oh, and it wasn't powerful at all.
Len is absolutely correct, class. Smartphones today are incredibly powerful devices that are also small. So are your laptop computers. But how about the first computers? Do any of you know how big they were? Nobody even wants to guess? Okay, let me show you. Turn to page 356 in your books. Do you see that? That's ENIAC. It was one of the first computers ever invented. Do you see how large it was? ENIAC was invented in 1946. It took up 167 square meters of floor space. That's about as big as an average 4-bedroom house in this neighborhood. It weighed 30 tons. Tons! It was huge. It ran on vacuum tubes, of which it had more than 17,000. Just replacing the vacuum tubes as they quit working was practically a full-time chore. Oh, and as for its computing power, the calculators that you use in your math class are much more powerful than ENIAC ever was. Why am I telling you this? Well, I want you to realize how technology often progresses. Improvements in technology tend to go from large to small, from weak to strong, and from slow to fast. We're going to cover the history of computers today, and I want you to focus on 3 words: smaller, stronger, and faster. Okay, we're going to begin with a man named Alan Turing.
Now answer the questions. Number 39. What is the teacher mainly discussing? Number 40. What does the teacher mention about ENIAC? Number 41. Why does the teacher mention calculators? Number 42. What will the teacher probably do next? Stop. This is the end of the listening section.